The oven fan in our Cafe oven won't turn off. It is on at 350 regular oven, and even after being shut off it continues to run.
Hello, and thank you for using this service. I'll be helping you with your problem today. The fan running is the cooling fan most likely, and the fan running is completely normal. The fan will continue to run until the inside of the oven has dropped below 180 degrees, so it can run up to 1.5 hours after you shut the oven off. Either way, if it doesn't shut off, then you either have a bad thermostat sensor or a bad control board. You can't test the board, but you can test the sensor. Open the door and remove the 3 to 4 long thin metal rod attached to the back wall. There are 2 screws holding the sensor on that you can remove, and then pull the sensor forward until you can disconnect it. With a multimeter, check the resistance of the sensor at room temperature, and it should be about 1080 ohms. If it's not, replace the sensor, otherwise you need to replace your relay board.
It's never done this before. We aren't using the oven in convection, only regular oven. Is this normal? We aren't going to remove the board. Neither my husband or myself want to go to that extent. Do you think we need a repair person?
I would open the door to allow the oven to cool down quicker. If the fan doesn't turn off within 30 minutes, then I would call a repair person. Otherwise, if the fan turns off, it sounds like the oven is working properly, but why it wasn't acting this way before is very strange. The convection fan is different than the cooling fan. You would know if the convection fan is the issue because as soon as you open the door switch cuts power to the convection fan, so the convection fan would turn off. If the fan keeps running when you open the door, then the cooling fan is the fan that is running, and it's likely still normal unless it's staying on too long.
The fan did just turn off during this message, and Mike tried to determine the temperature and he set to 300, and when it went on it showed 276. It's now off and the door is open. Not sure what's going on.
It sounds to me like it's working properly unless the door was locking shut when the fan was coming on. As I said before, I'm not sure why it wasn't working correctly to begin with, but that is how the oven is supposed to work.
A few days before Thanksgiving I used the self-clean mode and stopped the cycle before it was complete. And now wondering if the oven is locking because it still thinks it should finish the clean cycle.
Okay, perhaps you didn't mention this before, but is the door locking when this issue is occurring? Because you didn't say anything about that before.
No. It isn't locked because we can open the door. I'm just wondering if by canceling the self-clean cycle before the designated time period it has set off the cooling fans.
Okay, well, that wouldn't have anything to do with the issue, no. If the oven door locks, then the fans will automatically turn on, but canceling the self-clean didn't create the way this oven works unless the latch used to be somewhere stuck between the open and closed positions, and now it's back into the correct open position, which is why it's working correctly now and wasn't before.
Thank you, Tyler. Great job, and we'll see if everything goes well. I might have to call for a service person, but for now the oven is back on and the potatoes are baking. We hope.
No problem. As I said, it's definitely working the way it was intended. I'm just not sure why it wasn't before. Either way, good luck. If you need anything else, just let me know. You can continue asking follow-up questions at no additional charge after rating my service if you still need assistance.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit JustAnswer.com/YTHI.